Welcome to a very special TransMissions podcast event. This is our review, our spoiler-free review of Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom, the latest installment of the Netflix series. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C. I'm here with the TransMissions crew. We've got Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hello.
Awesome producer and editor, Mike.
The event of the year.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian beast.
Hello. Let's talk Transformers.
And we have a special guest joining us. We have Ant from TFU Info, also the Dean, Provost, and President of Transformers University. Ant, welcome for help. Thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Happy to be here, as always.
All right. So this is going out early before the Netflix show is dropped. So you've still got about a week before the show comes out. So we're going to give you our impressions. We're not going to, tell you any big secrets or spoilers because, that would spoil the fun for you guys, and we don't want to do that. But
we don't want to anger the Netflix gods.
Yeah, that's true. So, Ant, you're our guest. Maybe I'll start with you. What were your overall thoughts on the Netflix War for Cybertron Kingdom?
So I think my overall thoughts, it's the best of the three. Though I don't really hold the first two in terribly high regard, but this one it's the best of the three for sure. I think one thing I was worried about off the top was that it wasn't going to respect the original source material, the Beast Wars source material in a lot of ways, and I was pleasantly surprised that it did. And it didn't go down the exact road, but it went close enough in a lot of ways where I could feel like it was a different thing, but they weren't trying to change the entire core concept of Maximals and Predacons and the origins of the Beast Wars story. So I think that was good. There were a lot of Easter eggs I think were good. The scripts overall, the writing by May Cat and Tim Sheridan was pretty good. As I said, it's the best of the three for sure.
Cool. All right, Daryl, notorious Beast Wars hater. I'm curious to see what your thoughts were.
Media, not toys.
You forget I'm the biggest Beast Wars fan on the show.
That's why it's in his handle.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if I can compete with Ant's, copious amounts of notes there. I mean, he's definitely paid a lot of attention. I definitely I liked Earthrise the best out of the three. I really liked the pacing of Earthrise a lot. I found it a lot funnier than any of the other three or any of the other two. Yeah. But as far as Kingdom goes, I didn't mind it. I thought it was a great show. There was some fun bits. There were some really good action sequences. You'll hear about it with our discussion with FJ DeSanto, but for the most part, the new additions to the voice, cast, I really, found myself losing myself in the voice cast of the Beast Wars characters, because we've gotten used to the Autobots and Decepticons over the last two series, and I was like, okay, so what are the Maximals and Predacons gonna sound like? And when we get into the spoilery stuff, I'll probably, I'll lean into it a little harder, but there was really only one character that made me really step back and say, whoa, that's a big difference. So I really didn't see that big of a deal with any of the other voice, actors and what they did for the Beast Wars characters. So I thought that was a really good job. The story, how they wrapped it up, I thought was a pretty good way to wrap it up. The way they integrated the Autobots, Decepticons, Maximals, and Predacons, I thought was actually fairly clever, bringing them all together at one point in history was also very well done. And you got to remember, it's all within 6 episodes, 6 half-hour episodes. It's not a long season. So I thought it was really well done with the timing that they had to work with. So yeah, I enjoyed the series as a whole, and as Kingdom as its third and tertiary component.
All right. And Mike, I know FJ is really curious to hear what you had to say about War for Cybertron Kingdom. So what were your thoughts?
It was so much easier doing this when knowing that I wasn't going to be talking to FJ. Overall, I really did enjoy the series. I have a couple of like critiques and criticisms, but that's just me. But overall, I really did enjoy the series. There was one like big story element that I did not agree with as much. We'll save that for more spoilers. But for the most part, the whole storyline behind it, I liked it, and I'm going to echo Daryl a little bit on this one too, where it felt very integrated. It felt like it came together. I never questioned at all, like, why are there Beast Wars characters in here? Why are they here? Like, they don't make any sense. Like, I never once thought that. Everything felt integrated and like a totality to it, and it wrapped up the series very, very nicely. I'm okay with some of the voices. Probably not as just as a blanket okay as Daryl is. I think I know who you're talking about, the specific character, and yeah, it is a very big departure from what we're used to. But that's also the thing; we're judging it based on what we're used to with Beast Wars voices, and that's just not it. So yeah, the one thing that I will like really kind of lean heavily at, both in good and bad, on is the visuals for it. The animation I thought was really, really good, really solid. The animal animation for all the beasts, really, really nice, really solid and fluid. Just a pleasure to look at. The lighting, I think, still, it was just too dark for my taste. It ended up like the shadows just ended up being very, very black, very, very dark, and like tended to take away from some of the rest of the scenes. So yeah, I kept on like wanting to say, just pop a fill light in there, just get a little bit extra light on the opposite side. You can keep the directionality, it's fine, but just a little bit more fill on there so we can see some of those finer details. But overall, I really did enjoy the series. Small critiques and criticisms here and there, but I definitely think it's a good watch. And if you are on the fence about watching it as to whether you're going to think like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this or not, give it a shot. You will like it.
Nice. All right, Jeremy, you've got a very War for Cybertron styled transmissions shirt where you're showing off there. So what were your thoughts on Kingdom?
I was muted, and the mute works this time. How about that? Yeah, transmissionspodcast.com/shop. I think I also enjoyed this the most out of the three. I think the pacing was better than Earthrise, definitely. As we mentioned, Earthrise seemed more episodic, and this seemed to flow from episode to episode a little bit better to me. Visually, I thought it looked really good. I'm not the graphic designer that Mike is, so I look at things with a less critical eye, but I thought the color palette, because you were on Earth rather than Cybertron, introduced a lot more like greens and browns and blues that you didn't see on Cybertron, and I thought that helped a lot. There was I think the writing, like Ant said, it did honor the Beast Wars, like the legacy of what came before. it wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel, except where it was kind of needed to fit into the story. And when we get into the spoilers talk, we will go into that more, I'm sure. And I thought how they made it work was a really clever way of kind of honoring the Beast Wars stuff. And if you want to, in your head canon, you could say it actually did happen up to a certain point. And I really liked that they took that approach. Maycat and Tim Sheridan, I thought, did a good job of getting the voices of the characters. I'm not like the actors, but I'm saying like Rat Trap talked like Rat Trap in what he was saying, stuff like that. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to say without spoiling, because I was about to give a spoiler.
No spoilers.
I know.
Mute yourself if you feel like you're going to
No.
spoil.
When Cyclone came down and just wiped out everyone, that was horrible. No, just kidding. No, I think if you were, if you have it like 2.5 hours and you're wondering about it, just watch it all the way through. The most critical people about this entire show are going to be the diehard Transformer fans. I think if you step back and you look at it with less of a fandom eye and more of I want to be entertained by a good Transformer story, I think it's there. The voices, I think, were, for the most part, I think they were okay. There were a couple that I thought were excellent. And then, like Daryl said, there's one that it seemed off. I think they made the voice fit how they portrayed the character. But it's going to be the thing that, the message boards just go on fire about. So I would definitely say this was an enjoyable show, and I would definitely watch it again.
All right. Well, I'll wrap up with my thoughts. I pretty much am in agreement with what you guys thought. I really enjoyed the show. I thought Kingdom was did a really good job of ending the series, finishing the story that was started with Siege and Earthrise. I think it did a good job of balancing both the G1 characters and the Beast Wars characters. Like both, I didn't feel like either set of characters didn't have enough to do or didn't get enough to finish their character arcs. I thought the whole series was a nice homage to G1, Transformers the movie, and Beast Wars. All three of those things got some nods and got some Easter eggs, which I really appreciated. I thought, and I like the fact that it's its own unique thing. I mean, they do give you some references to all the previous stories, but it's its own unique story. I mean, you can say this is the part of the wider Transformers multiverse where there's infinite possibilities, infinite divergent timelines, and this is one of those one of those alternate timelines. So I think everything fits pretty well. And if you take that kind of meta commentary or meta framework there. So yeah, I mean, I do think in terms of the visuals and everything, I really enjoyed the visuals. I thought the Beast Wars characters were really well done in terms of looking like their character models from the original cartoon and being very well animated and fluid, and their transformations and everything looked really nice. The one thing there's been a kind of throughout these three series, there's been issues with the voice acting and voice direction. And I think, there's still some issues there with this series, which, Daryl already talked about one particular character having a very different take on their voice than previous incarnations. But I think just in general, it felt like there was a little bit uneven, because some characters were still doing this kind of plodding, very kind of sluggish delivery of their dialogue, but other characters were pretty snappy and what I would say what more what I was expecting. So I still felt like there was, there could be some improvements on the voice direction. I thought the voice actors and the choices that they made for the kind of the voices they gave to the characters, I thought were mostly good. I didn't have a huge problem with anyone. I thought a lot of them were pretty fit the characters pretty well. But like I said, the delivery was, just it felt like it could have been a little bit peppier, a little bit snappier. And that was my only really major, I'd say, complaint or criticism. I thought the story really flowed well. I thought all the different twists and events that happened were really well done. And yeah, it's a satisfying conclusion. So if all three of these series is a nice self-contained Transformer story, and it's also open-ended. So it's always nice to have that open end at the end. So you can spawn your own fanfic, or you can hope for someone else to pick it up later in a future story, and that's still a possibility out there. So it's a nice a nice little package. So I was happy with this. I was happy with the whole Netflix series overall. And we know they've already announced future shows coming up that are going to divert. They're not following up on this series, but I would hope at some point, maybe in a couple of years, maybe in the future, that maybe they'll come back to this storyline and pick it up where this left off and do something interesting with it. But
I could see comics or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, IDW doing a mini series following up on this, could be an interesting bit of storytelling. So,
but would Optimus talk just as slow?
he talk well. If it's in a comic, he talks as fast as you can read. So it's you don't have to worry about that.
I listened to it at 1.5x today just to kind of refresh my memory, and Optimus still talked really slow.
Yeah,
I thought the 1.5 times would do it for you.
So yeah, I mean, so that's our quick snapshot review of Transformers: War for Cybertron Kingdom. This is coming to Netflix July 30th. So when this goes up, you've probably got about a week before the show drops. So you should be looking forward to that. I definitely encourage you to watch it. Watch it if you are an older fan, an adult with kids. Watch it with your kids. I'm sure they'll enjoy it too. And it's just a nice package for the 35th anniversary of the 86 movie and the 25th anniversary of Beast Wars. It's something nice that honors both of those. So I think you'll enjoy it. So thumbs up, recommend from the Transmissions crew plus Ant. So before we go, Ant, why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff online?
Sure. So wherever you listen to Transmissions or watch on YouTube, you can catch Transformers University on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, the whole nine. And of course, you can find me on the web at www.tfu.info, the world's longest running transforming toy archive. And if you want to reach out to me directly, Twitter is always the best way to do it. And that would be at TFU_info.
All right. Yeah. TFU.info. TFU.info is an awesome site. If you have any questions about Transformers, if you need to search for a Transformer you can't remember the name of, but you have a vague description of it, you can find it on there. So that's an awesome contribution to the fandom, Ant, and thanks for that, for continuing to run that site.
Thank you.
I know a lot about Transformers, and I use this site like weekly.
I built the site, and I use the site occasionally.
Well, when you're going back to like a page that you did 20 years ago.
Nobody,
all right.
Nobody, I don't care who you are. Nobody can remember all the damn names. Nobody knows all the stupid action masters and all the micro masters and all of them. Nobody has all those names memorized. It's ridiculous. There's too
Daryl.
many.
Daryl. I put a quiz up on like one of those like quiz websites that has all of the G1 toys, G1 and G2 toys. It took me a while, but I can actually do it. So to you.
You cheated.
It was all thanks to Ant.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this special episode of Transmissions. You can check us out at our website, transmissionspodcast.com, and wherever you can download podcasts in your reader, Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those good places. We're there. We do 2 shows every week. We do one show all about Transformers toys and merchandise, and one show all about Transformers comics and media. So if you're interested about talking about Transformers, check us out, and we'll be there. So hope everyone gets a chance to check out War for Cybertron Kingdom. Let us know what you thought about it, and come back and maybe we'll have some feedback in a future show. So thanks everyone for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye all.
See ya.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.